It's Mailbag, and we have an abundance of stuff as usual, so let's see how far we can get through this. This one says Zener Diode Assortment Kit. Which one do I want to use? I'm feeling blue today. Zener Assortment Kit. Yes, a bunch of through-hole Zeners. Looks like we have 2.4 volts all the way up to 33 volts, 10 pieces each of 27 values, 270 pieces. And they use nice stamps instead of handwriting. So that's going to be nice to cut off in strips and store in the trays. Let's look it up and see who's selling these. I think I might want to get more things from them if they organize it so well. 270 Zeners, half a watt, between 2.4 and 33 volts, 27 values, $2.48 from Access City 2009. 10 each of these 27 values listed here. Half a watt, not much to say except sounds like a good price for the quantity. This says expansion board module, and it says it twice. Are there two expansion board modules in here? Or is there something totally different? 1, 2. The infamous unwrappable bubble wrap. No problem. Oh! This kind of looks like an old school Arduino. It's got some headers in it. It is an Uno, but of course, you know, there's no Arduino logo because it's a clone. But so what? So it's totally old school looking, except it doesn't have the big dip chip. But yeah, I guess I just wanted more stuff. So let's look this one up. Now this looks a little different than the one I got. The one I got just says Uno. This one's got DCC Arduino and all of that. And it's saying Bluetooth baseboard ATmega 328P Uno. And the CH340, I guess that's the USB interface. So I'm going to have to double check what I'm supposed to have. So from SendSmart, $4.14. So the CH340 is a USB to serial chip. Okay, so this is the Bluetooth they're talking about. This auction covers two different things. You can either buy the Arduino Uno with the CH340 USB or a Bluetooth module, which I did not get. So yeah, this was very confusing, and the markings are different than what I got, but you get to choose one or the other. I think I'm going to save these anti-static bags, if for nothing else, than to line these plastic trays so I can lay stuff in it that might be static sensitive. What else did they send me? Oh, slider potentiometers. Urgh. I assume these are both the same, and both cannot be gotten into without a knife. There's no quick tear starter tab. And they've labeled this as out A and B and VCC and ground. So I guess it's a dual ganged potentiometer. I just have been doing things lately that use slider pots, so I'm also waiting on some caps to put on these. 10K linear slide potentiometer. You get one for $1.68 from SendSmart. It comes with the yellow slider knob. It's got two outputs, 0 to VCC, because that's how they labeled their ends of their potentiometer on the silk screen. They make good analog inputs on an Arduino Uno. This says DC LED. I have no idea what that could be. So, what is it? So, I think this is a power switch that goes in line with a DC power adapter and lets you cut the power. So maybe it's meant for powering a strip of LEDs or something for some cabinet lighting or whatever. So there's the switch. So it's got a jack and a plug. Standard looking 2.1 by 5.5 millimeter jack and plug. So you've got a battery pack or a wall adapter. You can plug it into here, have an on-off switch, and continue onward. I figured that would be convenient to have around. So for example, if I just had a 9-volt battery and a regular plug here for this DSO-138 oscilloscope, and I wanted to be able to power it, I could throw this in line with it. Inline power switch for 2.1 by 5.5 millimeter DC barrel plug and jack. $2.98 from Passionate Lifeshine. I just remember feeling very, very inspired and motivated to make a purchase when I saw this. So here it is. You can use it at typical operating temperatures, -20 to +60 degrees. They are rating it for 12 volts. I assume that'll be fine. I'm using it at 9, really. I can't see myself using it above 12. They don't really give anything like the wire gauge, so I'll just have to trust that I'll use it responsibly. You can choose black or white. I chose black. This is called one lamp light bracket lamp light close bracket. Maybe it's LEDs. I don't know. Urgh. I see LEDs. Yes. It looks like we have potentially white, blue, green, red, yellow LEDs. And some tape. And some more tape I did not see. And still can't see. What is going on? Maybe I gotta figure out if they sell this invisible tape. Aha! So, what was I doing? These are standard 5mm through-hole LEDs. I thought these would be convenient to have around, and I wanted a case. So, what do we have here? A lovely blue. I gotta figure out how to set the exposure on this camera. This is a lovely blue, but on the camera screen it's looking a lovely white. Speaking of white, is that what these are? Yes. Or does it look blue on the camera? Nope, looks whiter than blue. Let's expedite trying all these out. Red, yellow, green. Which may not look that way on camera. I gotta fix this. I gotta figure this out sometime soon. And just like everything else you take out of the box, it never really closes and goes back the same way, does it? Okay. There. 500 LEDs. You can choose 3 or 5mm. I chose 5. They come in white, yellow, red, blue, green. So it's $5.49 with 99 cents shipping. I remember looking these up, and I guess this was a comparable going rate. It does have the enclosure. I think mine looks a little different than this. This one looks like it has 3 different sizes of compartments, but it does look like there's inserts, plastic dividers. So I guess they're showing it one way here, but I got them all as containing all of the dividers with tiny squares, partitioning mine up. So this case can be useful just to store the LEDs, or of course, you can do what you want if you use up all the LEDs and store different stuff in here. Maybe surface mount components. They're nice enough to give the voltage, forward voltage, the current, and the wavelength of the output light. It would be nice to have part numbers, data sheets to verify all of this, but when you're buying stuff like this, you're just buying it for general purpose anyway. It doesn't really matter. Very colorful. Description of contents. Electronics. Well, I'm intrigued. What do we have? Where's the safest place to open electronics? On the workbench. What is this? Ooh, looks like another bunch of diodes. And something. Some sort of looking power converter module. XL semi. So I'm not sure. I guess the part number is XL6009. Well, let's go look this thing up and see what it is. And we have what looks like a damaged inductor? If it's broken, can I still make it work? And if not, what is it? Can I replace it? I don't know what this is. Maybe I need to set this thing aside to inspect before I ever try using it. So let's see what it is. Buck Boost DC Adjustable Step Up or Down Converter XL6009 module. $1.30 from Satisfy Electronics. I don't remember why I chose this particular one, and looking at these specs can be a little confusing right now. For example, what does it mean when they say auto start voltage will be pulled down to 7 volts less or smaller engine at high speed when the voltage is up to 15 volts or higher? For 12 volt electrical work, hard at work, this automatic buck module solves this problem regardless of the input voltage is 5 volts or 12 volts or 32 volts. The output can be stabilized at 12 volts. Well, that must be why I wanted it. Let's try looking at it a different way. Input voltage 5 to 32. Output can be 1.25 to 35 with automatic buck scope of work. Any voltage, okay. Anyway, I think what they mean is because it's buck boost and automatic, you throw in whatever you want between 5 and 32 and you're going to get out whatever you set it for between 1.25 and 35. 4 amp MOSFET switches efficient up to 94%. LM2577 current is 3 amp. 400 kilohertz, 400 kilohertz frequency switching. The ripple is smaller and smaller. Well, this is just turning into quite the story. Well, let's just try looking up a data sheet. XL6009, 400 kilohertz, that sounds familiar. 60 volt, 4 amp switching current, boost, buck boost, inverting DC to DC converter. Okay, 5 to 32 volts in. Oh, positive or negative out voltage, programming with a single feedback pin. Maximum 4 amp switching current, up to 94% efficient. Soft start, thermal shutdown, current limit, capable of generating positive or negative output voltages. It can be configured as a boost, flyback, SEPIC, or inverting converter. So they do have a trimmer potentiometer here. They are calling it boost buck DC adjustable step up down module. So I will assume their configuration of this module supports this functionality. But if there's a broken inductor, I might have some trouble verifying this. It shall be fun. It's not just about buying stuff and designing stuff on this channel, it's about fixing stuff, dealing with stuff. And this, I guess, a bunch of diodes, right? Let's just say I gave up trying to get a good look at the part number on this thing, including with a magnifier and a camera zoom. Let's just look these up and go from there. 100 pieces of 1N914 Satisfy Electronics, $1.35. 1N914 is the first switching diode I ever heard of. Nowadays it's 1N4148. So I bought this for nostalgic reasons, and they don't really give much info. So a quick datasheet search in general for this part number. It's kind of like buying a 2N3904, 3906, or 2222 transistor. You just have it. It's general purpose. You can always use it. Forward voltage 1 volt. Really? Is that it? Is that what it is? Not 0.6 or 0.7? So you wouldn't use something like this if you're trying to block a signal in one direction and have a minimum voltage drop. These are just things to have kicking around, and maybe having a high forward voltage is a feature if you want to throw a bunch of these in series and make a quick voltage drop. 1 pieces, 76 to 108 megahertz. This is either a transmitter or receiver. Oh, an antenna, telescopic. Arduino TEA 5767. And this one does have a starter tearing tab. So where does this go? It can go in either, but what is this all about? TEA 5767 module. I see a 32.768 kilohertz crystal looking thing below the chip. I'm not familiar with this NXP chip, and I think I can't even see all of the markings because it's in the shadow of the connector. Ooh, this is like one of those storybook Dreamtime focus things. All right, let's go look this up. FM stereo radio module plus the cable antenna for Arduino, 76 to 108 megahertz, 5 volts. TEA 5767. This is from Survey 2014, $3.84. This can be useful for FM transmitter experiments as well as just listening to FM. So they're saying it's a 5-volt board with a power reverse protection diode, blue power indicator. You can directly plug the antenna port. Well, that's good to know. It's got I2C communication, so presumably these 4 pins would be 5 volts ground and I2C clock data. Philips chip module TEA 5767 FM. Philips headphone amplifier chip TDA 1308. So the TDA 1308 is on the right side of the board. I assume the output jack on the right side is headphones. The jack on the left is near the radio module, so that must be where the antenna goes. So, the radio module. Single chip, electronically tuned FM stereo radio for low voltage applications. Completely adjustment free, only requires minimum small low cost components. The radio can be tuned to European, US, and Japanese FM bands. So the chip datasheet confirms it can take 5 volts. That's important before we power this thing on for the first time at some point. Analog supply current, although they're only talking about running at 3 volts, it would be 10 milliamps. And the digital supply current, if running at 3 volts, would be 3.9 milliamps. So almost 1 milliamp for the VCO supply current at 3 volt supply. That's voltage controlled oscillator. So 15 or so milliamps if you're running at 3 volts. Well, what about 5? I'm not too familiar with radio specifications, so I'm just going to assume you plug in the antenna, you plug in something to take the audio out, give it 5 volts, control it with Arduino, and we're good. This one has a description that says TTL TT. Okay, I'm curious. All right, it looks like a couple of 8-pin dips in a very huge bag. No, it's a couple of 14 or so pin chips. All those bubbles on the other bag were obscuring my view. I see a bent pin because they didn't put these in any kind of protective foam. It's a pair of 74HC74 chips. Now, HC, isn't that high-speed CMOS? I don't think this was in anti-static friendly packaging. Neither were all the CMOS chips I've been hoarding for, well, a long time. 2 pieces of 74HC74N for 99 cents from King Electronics 15. I know when I looked on DigiKey in quantity 1, these were going for about 71 cents. So getting 2 for 99 cents sounded like a good deal. And again, just stocking up. This is a dual D flip-flop, and that's all they have to say about it. So 74HC74 dual D flip-flop. It has a preset and clear, operates 2 to 6 volts. Maybe someday we can talk about what are all these logic families, the TTLs, the CMOSs, the HCT, ALS, whatever exists. How do you use them or choose them? Why do they exist? How do you drive one from the other? What are the limitations? Do you need to level translate or not, going one direction or the other? That's a big topic, but this is just a general purpose purchase. Okay, well, that's disappointing for TTT, so let's open one more and try to make up for it. This is called connector. This could be exciting or just a connector. You never know what's in here. Hey, the first word I see says fuses. Now what is this all about? It's not a connector, so yeah, the fun goes on, but it has a bullseye on it. I'm not sure why. So it looks like I have a whole lot of glass fuses, and I think I remember now. Let's just get one out. Doesn't it kind of look like a bunch of ammunition? So these are size 5 by 20, 100 pieces of 8 amp, and it's 250 volt. I think I got 100 pieces because I had to. Either that's all I could get, or it was just as cheap as getting one. And the reason I got these is back when I was working on this hot air rework station with the fuse holder that I broke, I thought it's a good idea to get some spare fuses. So there they go. 100 fuses, 250 volt, 8 amp, fast blow, 5 millimeter by 20 millimeter. $2.89 from Seattle Accessories. Well, 100 of these for $2.89 would be why I bought them. I probably would spend $5 for 2 or 3 if I bought them locally, so why not get this? So I think that was another successful haul. A whole bunch of colorful lights, a bunch of spare fuses, some sort of regulator. That'll be fun to work on. And this wireless thing. Arduino Uno old school, bunch of spare diodes, slider pots, power adapter switches. How can you go wrong ordering on eBay? Well, I better put the cap back on this before I hurt myself. So until next time, I don't have a sign-off greeting yet, so that's it.